I wanted to talk to you about belly fat and specifically as a woman who's 42 next month. I know that again, if you're in this era, same era as me, or you're approaching it, it might be a concern for you, right? So I wanted to kind of jump on here real quick and clear up a few different like facts and myths, etc. as well. And yeah, just firstly, preface the fact that women naturally we store fat around our lower abdominals, right? Especially when we're thinking about like below the button, belly button area. And especially if we think about this in comparison to men, right? This is consistently shown in like body fat distribution research, especially when we're thinking about men versus women. And even when we have lean, athletic women, they will often still retain a small fat pad, if you like, around that area. So, yes, you can still have like visible, upper abs and still have lower belly fat present. And again, typically, this will be the last place where fat comes off. And it's because that area is generally less metabolic or less metabolically active than, let's say, things like our arms, shoulders, upper abs, and maybe even our face. So let me kind of relate that for you or put my experience within that as well. So when I have prepped for either photo shoots or bikini competition phases, and maybe if it's even holidays, etc., for me personally, my lower abdominals have always been the area, or that lower belly area has always been the last place that I lose fat. And I will always get, fat loss from around my face quite quickly, maybe even around the upper shoulder area. And yeah, I guess it's that whole thing of when people say, again, if you've come from that world or you know anything around bodybuilding, but you get this like prep face, you get a remarkably smaller, less body or less fat around the cheek area. That's definitely happened for me. I'm when I get really lean, I lose it from my face first, and I'll lose it from, I guess, this sort of shoulder area, my chest as well. I will lose breast tissue, or breast fat, let's say. And the lower, again, if I start to get leaner and trimmer around my upper waist, the smaller part of my waist, it will always be that lower abdominal area that is the very last bit to go. And unfortunately, that's a lot of it is just, again, is it genetics? Is it age? Like, what is it? So, even when we think about age, if we kind of cross that area, even for those of us, for those women, or for some of us women that haven't had children, when we are thinking comparatively around what we see on social media, or maybe from my era, the magazines, etc., celebrities, many of the flat stomachs that we might see, A, we have AI now. B, a lot of the time when we think about marketing and clothing marketing, we have teenage bodies or women in their very early 20s kind of modeling. There again can be those people genetically, you can have those lean outliers. So there's people that are just very genetically, they are lean individuals. They will not have that around there. Perhaps maybe when we are thinking about close to competition stage ready, photograph ready, photo shoot ready, or maybe event ready, or whatever it is, they will be quite heavily dieted by that time, very, right at the end of that sort of diet phase. They will likely be dehydrated. So again, they've got rid of any excess water, etc. In and yeah, quite obviously they might be posed, flexed, filtered out, shot first thing in the morning. I know again when I did my last photo shoot, I felt quite nervous about it because everything kind of happened in such a flash that there was loads of stuff occurring with not finding the venue, being late, and I didn't actually eat that morning. So again, there will be a difference. I know that I had the same photographer this last November, so age 41, as I had when I turned 40, just after my 40th birthday. Same photographer. I'm pretty sure I was around the same weight as well. Yes, I had made changes in terms of gaining more lean mass. However, I think there was definitely a difference in terms of how food sat on me that day as well, because when I turned 40, I did actually have breakfast. I didn't have a massive breakfast, but I had breakfast because I just didn't want to feel super hungry and it just made me feel relaxed. And again, we test these things out. And then when I did the shoot last November, my intention was to eat, but I really didn't want to. And so therefore I looked a lot smaller and I hadn't quite filled out by that time either. And also, if we kind of bring it back to who we are as individuals, and I kind of mentioned teenagers and women in their early 20s, and we think about marketing and fashion photography, that sort of thing. It's unfair that we compare ourselves as either 30 to 40-year-old plus women um, to that because that's biologically unfair. And it's also important to understand that beyond that, there is a protective element with having lower fat or fat around the lower abdominal area because this biologically it's there to help protect organs. It's there for reproductive structures as well. And it also comes back to why women generally maintain higher essential body fat levels than men. Um, and that's not my opinion, right? I guess it's like physiology, and perhaps maybe it gives you a bit of comfort hearing that as well. And I will say it's not to say that it's unattainable. You could really, really go and diet hard. But again, when we are chasing a totally flat lower stomach, we do have to think at what cost does that come again to remove it. So for many of us women, you would have to diet aggressively. Even my last photo shoot, that was pretty hard. And I'm actually really happy where I was. There may have been a little softness around my lower tummy. Who cares? I feel like the rest of me looked great. I felt good. I had full boobs as well. I had those were present. That was there. My glutes felt fuller. And that's the thing. If you diet absolutely aggressively to get rid of every single part, every single bit of fat, just to get rid of that lower abdominal fat, um, or lower belly fat, then you do have to accept that you're going to get fat loss in other areas. I'm not happy to accept that. Again, like I said, your glutes, your breasts, your face. And you also have to tolerate the fact that you can't maintain that because you are going to then have lower training performance. Your recovery is going to be off. Your energy is going to be off. You're not going to perform well in work, in your career as well. You might also find that you start to shut down a little bit more. And I take it back to when I was competing. And I was in a job role where I was front facing, customer facing. And yes, I worked in a very physical job. It was physio slash rehab slash sports massage, Pilates, personal training. I did a very combined role at that stage when I worked for that company. And yeah, I just remember when I was saving all my energy for the person in front of me to be present for them, to make sure that, again, I was really taking care of their performance, that when it came to my break times or my lunch times, I literally visibly shut down. And you will have heard me talk about this as well, about NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's a very real thing. Right now, I'm in a maintenance, potentially little bit of a surplus right now. We're kind of kicking around there right now with my own fitness journey, and I am moving. Albeit, yes, I've got my hoodie on and my jacket. I feel quite comfortable like that. it's cold right now, and it's just I'm feeling in that cold vibe. But I'm moving lots, right? I'm expending energy at a micro level. Um, and yeah, unfortunately, no matter what anyone tries to sell you online, whether it's like diet teas or pills or God knows what juice cleanses and detoxes that people try and say is going to help you. There is no such thing as spot reduction. You can train your abs, you can build the muscle, but you cannot get rid of or selectively do some sort of deep core magic or trickery that's going to selectively burn your lower belly fat. No exercises, no specialized breathing drills are going to do that. Fat loss happens systematically, not locally. Okay. So, again, the bottom line is a small lower belly pouch on an otherwise lean individual. Strong woman is normal, it's common, and it doesn't indicate failure. I have it, it's present on my body, and it's an acceptance for me. I'm still going to keep pushing to build lean muscle, to again, to diet down for specific times when I want to. Whether it's for a photo shoot or a holiday or it's a certain phase that I'm working on, it will still be present for me. And potentially, if I ever wanted to compete again, I could diet down more and maybe it would go. But the point is, and the thing that I'm trying to say to you is that you always have to think of at what cost to your personal life, your lifestyle, the rest of your body as well, mentally, and also just to kind of reassure you you're not doing anything wrong. Okay. It's a sign that you're a female. And I mean, I take it back to years ago, even when I was working in person and I had a lady that wanted to work with me on a one-to-one basis. And we did one session together. And her biggest sticking point was she was a very lean individual. She was quite some years older than me, maybe a decade or so older than me. And her thing was she wanted to get rid of this tiny, tiny bit of lower belly pouch fat that was present there. And, again, we should never compare ourselves to any individual, but it was so minuscule. And and I just remember trying to reassure her and saying, look, it's okay. Like the rest of you, we can build a strong core. We can certainly build muscle tissue. We can build strength. We can build core. We can functionally train our core in a way that is is beneficial to us. And we can have toned abs, right? It's muscle. It's like a bicep. Maybe we could even compare the whole belly fat situation to a tricep. When you tighten your arm like this, it will feel like, oh, I've got a toned arm and there's nothing present there. But as soon as you loosen it off and you hang it down by your side, maybe if you put it down by your side, you will get a loose pocket around that tricep area. And that's not to say that it's fat, it's just not taut because the muscle has not been flexed at that moment, or it's not under tension. So again, there's so many things that come into play here, but I just wanted to jump on here and do maybe a little bit of straight talking from myself. Just yeah, and that's it, right? Um, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't own the right to be your best, to be your healthiest and your fittest, and if you want to be lean, go for it. But a little bit of softness does not mean that you're failing in this, okay? But yeah, hopefully that helps. And again, just to kind of remind you, if you've stumbled across my YouTube page and you're not aware of me on any other platforms, all you need to do is type in Coach Ritu and you'll find me on Instagram, on TikTok, obviously here on YouTube. Shoot me a subscribe, shoot me a follow. And I look forward to connecting with you soon and seeing you here next time. Thanks.